TheMadQueen. Welcome into the Queen's Lair. I had actually been away from ARK for about 2 years, a little more. My husband and I decided to come back. We have our own cluster. If you're curious, I do have a 5-map PvP cluster. You guys can check that out. I'll put the information down below. We had never played Lost Ark before, and we'd actually not watched any content on it. We wanted to really try to see if we could beat the boss without any knowledge. We just really wanted to jump in there and see what it was like. So here we are missing, I think, 3 Rexes. We have 17 teams total, I believe, and we did do this twice back to back. I'll be showing you both of those. It went from being a mess to an even messier mess, but you guys will see. Hopefully we are going to get this down packed a little bit more. My husband really wants to start doing the alpha, but as you're going to see here through these fights, I told him I do not think he's ready for that. So this is going to be a fun little adventure I recorded to bring you guys along with me. I typically always do ride the Udi whenever we do boss fights, or at least that's what we did before. And I will say, when we did stop playing the game overall, it was right after Genesis 1 came out. So I actually haven't played Genesis 1, Genesis 2, Fjordur, Crystal Island, or Crystal Isles, and then of course, like I said, Lost Island is brand new. In this series, or on this channel, I am going to be trying to cover our experience returning to the game. We both have a year plus worth of hours into the game. We played like maniacs before we stopped playing, and of course, I've always loved the game. There is no other game like this. It is super unique, and even when you're not playing it, you really do want to come back. The only thing that, of course, is a problem is it is a bit of a time commitment. And as you can see here, this was the biggest struggle. I did make sure I stayed behind so I could see if all of the Rexes made it. But getting around this corner is nuts. You'll see this in both takes for both of the fights we do, but getting around this corner was awful. We couldn't get all of the Rexes, and that honestly took way longer than the boss fight, just trying to get all of the Rexes combined and into one area. It was a mess. You're gonna see here, we actually have a couple that never even make it into the fight, and we're like, well, we're already a few Rexes down. Can we do it without a few more? Let's just try it, why not? The stats on this server are not super boosted. All of the dino stats are multiplied by 2, except for health and melee. Those are only 1.5 times what is on official servers. And this is beta, this is not alpha. I am very nervous about doing the alpha, as you'll see from not this one. It actually went much better the first time than it did the second time we tried it. And it was a hot mess. I didn't know it was gonna happen. We did end up winning both of these, which is really nice. And honestly, the second one was very, very close. I thought you got more than 220 element from this. The element you receive is the same as normal official servers. But we had no idea what to expect when we came in here. There is a giant monkey, basically, that comes and slams down on the ground. In the second take, you'll be able to see that it actually immediately killed my husband, and so I had to end up soloing that fight, which was a nightmare, but luckily it did end up working out. So he's come down. I've just been kind of doing some circling here to make sure that all the Rexes are here, or as many of them as we could get. Just doing my Udi buff. These monkeys throwing poop is super, super, super annoying, and it actually did almost make us lose in the second fight, which you'll see it's a hot mess. We had a lot of fun with this, and it's exciting to just kind of jump in and see how things are without having any prior knowledge. We definitely could have lost all of our Rexes and our UD. It took us, I think, about 2 weeks to fully prepare for this, with getting all the Rexes and also the UD and whatnot. Most of these guys do have primitive saddles. We have 10 saddles that are not primitive overall, and the ones that are wearing the primitive saddles definitely do take a bit more damage than the guys wearing the good saddles. And even when I say good saddles, none of them are super amazing. You're looking at like 35 armor, 45, 50, 65. I think the highest is honestly only in the 80s, 80 armor plus. I don't think it surpasses 90 at all. But after doing this a couple times with Rexes, I don't know if anybody else has trouble with this. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any issues getting your Rexes just to the boss without getting them super stuck. But I almost wonder if it would be better to maybe do a team of Theories, like Therazinos, or maybe even Aloes, so that they can get around a lot easier. The Rexes, of course, don't have the best turning radius, and as you can see, this was the first time we beat it, so we did unlock all of these Ingrams, which was really nice. We're definitely missing dedicated storage. We both love to have a really organized base, so not having dedicated storage was a big deal for us. We really wanted to get that going. And of course, we wanted to get the transmitter because we have Extinction and Aberration in this cluster, and we want to go make bases on both of those places as well, so that we can benefit from the resources there. I am lagging a bit here, as you can see too, and the lagging is actually a bit worse in the second run of this video. I am going to be speeding up the second run just a little bit overall, because this first run only took about 7-8 minutes, but the second one took almost 18, so I'm going to speed that up so it's not extremely long. I will say, in between these matches, we did go ahead and we brought a Snow Owl. Snow Owls must have been nerfed or something, because the amount of healing that it does now compared to when we left the game is completely different. So next time we will end up probably bringing our Daedon instead of the Owl, because it took way too long to heal some of these guys before the next fight. This time we did try to use the lessons we had learned from the previous time, and we were like, oh, we're gonna make sure that none of these Rexes get stuck this time. I was prepared. I did have a whip. I brought it in the first one too, but I didn't think about using it. And you're gonna see here that it did not make a difference. Some of these guys just get mega glitched, and it felt like we were always taking way more time just trying to get these guys to the boss than we were actually fighting it. But of course, like you're gonna see here, this is a rough fight. Thankfully we won. We would have lost everything, as you know, because you don't get to come out with your stuff if you lose the fight. So we, of course, had already learned all of the Ingrams. We were just trying to get Element at this point because, like I had mentioned before, we would like to make a couple of transmitters so that we can go to Aberration and Extinction. I ended up whistling these guys. I get off and use the whip to try to corral these guys. We changed their following settings between the first fight and this fight. I think they were on, it was on low, and then it was actually on medium, and we changed it to highest. Highest was too much, so next time we'll put them all on high, and hopefully that's like a happy medium. But I will be trying this with a team full of Therazinos to see if that's better. Theories can do an insane amount of damage as well, plus their turn radius is much better. It's a lot easier for them to get around, and they're a bit quicker, so I think that those will be a good option besides the Rexes, which kind of stinks because I have been working on getting mutated stats and taming so many Rexes, trying to get the best stats for each of the important stats that I need before I started breeding. And I don't know, I just, if their Xenos can do this, I will not be using Rexes here anymore. Yeah, look at this. I'm just like, please get out. Get out. And of course, the whole time my husband is panicking too. I'm the calm one, and he's always the one that's like freaking out. He's like, we're gonna run out of time, we're not gonna be able to do this, blah 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 blah, they're stuck, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, chill, man. Yeah, I'm like, give me a minute, let me try to whip these guys out, let's see if this makes a difference. If not, then, you know, the last fight we had a few stragglers too, so we'll just have to see what happens. I tried my best here, and of course it never worked, so I was like, screw this, let's do it, let's go to the boss. And as much as we tried to be way more organized this time on this fight, unfortunately, it was not like that. You're gonna very quickly be able to see. We look like absolute noobs in this one. Honestly, I thought we looked like noobs in the first one, but this is even worse. See, immediately my husband died because we didn't know the monkey could actually like just jump right on you and dismantle you and murder you. And honestly, we're just really lucky to be able to pull through this one in general. I couldn't get all of the Rexes together. I tried whistling them, and this is what I was talking about earlier. These guys, the freaking poop throwers, and this dude just on my butt the whole time. I was raging. It's probably a good thing I recorded this without audio and decided to do a voiceover, because I was really, really mad. I couldn't get these guys to gather up. We do actually end up losing a Rex, which is also pretty frustrating. One dies. Thankfully it's only one, because it probably should have been more than that. But I am going all over the map trying to corral these guys the best I can. Nobody's wanting to listen. You can see there's one Rex freaking biting on this guy, so I get in there with the Yudi. But when I start doing this, I get the big crap thrower, and this guy, this is a new dino since we've been back, and they are just on my butt constantly, and it's taking forever. I'm just trying to get around to the other Rexes so that I can get them corralled better, so we can, you know, defeat the boss a bit easier. But this was a nightmare. It was awful. As you can see, I was literally raging so hard to this point, because, you know, he's just throwing crap at me, and there's our Rex that died, but I was just so slow. And this Yudi, it was just a tamed Yudi. It was not imprinted to me. You can see up in the top right that it is very quickly losing a lot of health. And I tried to come over here and save my Charlie Rex so that he wasn't just getting totally soloed and gonna lose. I was getting nervous because, like, here I did get dismounted and I was like, oh crap. I wanted to, you know, try to back off a bit with the Yudi as much as I could, because of course I didn't want it to die, and I didn't want to die because, you know, at that point we would again lose everything, and that would really suck. What teams, let me know what teams you guys use for this. Do you guys have any tips or tricks on what you guys like to do specifically? Of course, I will be doing a bunch of testing and trying out a bunch of different teams. That's something I used to really like to do, is honestly just breed up a bunch of one random kind of dino and just see, you know, can these dinos do the boss or not. It's a pretty fun thing to try to do.